Welcome to the stream, everyone. Today with the Sunday Night Race Club, so should be quite an interesting one. It's going to be round one for season 2 for them, and it's the Russian Grand Prix. It's going to be very interesting to see a short qualifying session and then get into the race. I think we have quite a number of drivers. We've got 17 drivers on track, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how well this goes. And it does seem to be a dry qualifying, and hopefully it will be a dry race as well for them. Let's just get a few things set up just before we go. Let's see, we'll probably need to see what tires everyone is currently running on, but I think we'll leave that unfitted for now and enable maybe a few telemetry for the moment at least. I do tend to usually, keep the full track map on, just to keep an eye on where drivers are at any given point on the track, especially for you guys to be able to see that information as well. I really hope I set everything up okay. If everyone can hear me on stream, please let me know, because it has been quite a while since I've actually done any streaming from the Xbox, so just to make sure that I didn't forget to put anything on, just get that out of the way. Alright, so we got a few drivers out on track already. We'll talk a little more about the drivers and the teams in just a bit, as we're following with Smitty right now, who is currently running there in the Williams. Let's see, we should be able to switch on board, and there we go. Yeah, just making sure our controls do work pretty well. So we do expect to see some pretty fast qualifying times here today, especially with a short qualifying session. Drivers are always going to be a bit on edge in terms of getting that perfect lap time in. They're not going to want to just wait until the very last minute to do this, as that does, involve taking kind of a risk of not getting a good qualifying session, especially with a close to full grid of 17 drivers. You just want to make sure that you do get qualifying just right, and not just waste your tires and just waste time out on track. And lapping validation is just something very big. We're going to be a bit keen on to just have a look on what's going to be happening with that as drivers tend to get out. Let's have a look at this. So according to our map, we got quite a number of drivers out. As you can see that information on the leaderboard there as well. I think it's just about 4 drivers left in the pits right now. So I think so far so good. Let's see. Just to make sure is currently going fine. Just gonna check it on my end here. So in about the next 2 to 3 minutes, we should start to see some lap times in. Actually, maybe in just under 2 minutes, because we have Smitty just beginning his hot lap here right now. Everyone does have to do their out lap first and then get straight into that. So he does seem to be fine. Sorry about that for a second, just making sure everything is fine on my end over here. So yeah, we're following with Smitty. Let's switch on to someone else and let's see who else is close. So I know there was one driver in front of him there. I don't think we've got to that driver. Let's just get back to him. I think he's either going to be the first or second driver to go over the finish line just to get a good lap time in here, and let's see if he's able to actually make that through, as we're just switching on board with him right now. Oh, and there we go. So Mashman just gets the first time in at 133.5, not bad at all, and Bird just gets a 134.7 and just got pushed down by Lord there, getting into second, and quite a few lap times coming in now. Let's see where everyone is going to be standing with that. Following on with Grimmy right now, he is about to get around the last 2 corners and get a lap time in here as well. Hopefully gets himself up maybe into the top 5. We're going to see a lot of movements on that leaderboard, at least for now. and we'll notice that we have some of these drivers running on the soft tires, some are running on mediums. I think most drivers are going to be running on the medium tires, at least for the moment, just to test the track out and see what it's like right now, in terms of if they have enough time to actually just get another lap in on softs if they do need to. That is provided they don't invalidate what they're currently running on here. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful with that situation there as well. As Grimmy goes P4 for now 132.3, everyone is just about a few tenths off of each other's time, which is quite interesting to see. So let's switch down to the bottom here and let's see. And Mo Sullivan running, and let's see how far away he is. He's just begun his hot lap not too long now, I think, and is running. Unless he did finish one before. No, he didn't. We're going to just keep on board with him for just a second and have a look at what's happening. So 12, just under 30 minutes left in this short qualifying session. It's only 18 minutes long, so drivers just have a very limited amount of time, as we said before, to get their qualifying time in. And everyone seems to be doing pretty well so far. We haven't really seen much lap invalidations happening here. Everyone seems to have gotten a lap time in, starting from 130, going all the way down to a 134 at worst here. And that was on soft for Board there, so maybe he just had a bad lap. We're not entirely sure as yet, but he's definitely going to have to get back on track and try for a better lap in the next few minutes time at least. With just 12 minutes remaining, it's not really a lot of time. You just got to get into the pits and just get out back as fast as you can, and maybe just adjust your fuel settings if you need to, and yeah, just maybe change tires if they do actually. Oh, and that's a lap invalidation. Just took too much of that curb there, and that was just before the line, so definitely not going to be able to get a lap time in there. And I think his it was so close to the finish line that this lap is going to be invalidated there as well. So he definitely is going to have to try again for that. And we got a few drivers now on the out lap. I think I got Bernbo on an out lap right now. Okay, so getting back into a bit about the drivers and the settings, so we will see a few more lap times as the time goes through here, and I'm quite sure our drivers up on top, with AMG Reckless currently holding provisional pole position of 130.9 for his lap time. Definitely is going to have to try for a better time, because I think Colm there 131, he definitely is not far off, just about 2/10 at most off of his time there, so he might definitely try for a better lap time. So everyone's going to be getting back out on track pretty soon before the end of the session and trying for that again. Of course, we do have our settings set. I think ghosting is turned on. Race starts are definitely going to be on manual, and our corner cutting is going to be on strict, which is why drivers have to be very careful about lap invalidation and getting penalties in the race here. And with the new features added recently, just the ending of last year, we do actually get to see the penalties and how much penalties each driver has, which is going to be very useful as well for us. So and hopefully we're going to see if we're going to be able to see any safety cars or VSCs in this race. All depends on how turn one goes at the race start. Now, as we know, it is a bit of a run getting down into well, not too much of a run getting down into the first turn, and then a bit of a straight getting into the next one. So we're going to see how well that goes for drivers in terms of everyone trying to outbrake each other, maybe getting into some of these turns. And of course, in Sector 3, we do have those 90-degree turns and a parabolica in turn in Sector 1 as well, sorry. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how drivers tend to handle all of that there. So I might have this a little mixed up a bit, but we're just going to go through it just as drivers are finishing up on their lap. Just switch on back to someone else currently down in the bottom there. Let's go on to this as he's going around, and let's see what teams are like. So I think if I don't get this mixed up, Alfa Romeo Racing, we got Mashman and Mo Sullivan there, and Mercedes I got Lord and Grimmy. I'm trying to make sure it's all mixed up on the way I have it here, but I'm just gonna get through it. We got Bird in Racing Point, we got Jägerbaum in Ferrari, I got Lim in a Red Bull, got Sink in McLaren. We got Wilco in AlphaTauri and Smithy in the next Williams there. And what did I do with the image of the other one now? Oh, here we go, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. So Colm is running in the Racing Point as well. We got Rickwards in a Williams. Haas is Diesel. We got Burnboy in the next Ferrari. And we got AMG Reckless in the next Red Bull. McLaren is Leo, and the next AlphaTauri is Breeding Cow. I do like the PS names. It's one of the most interesting things about doing this commentary. Is the sorry, I forgot we are on Xbox. So it's just the gamer tags that we use. Because I'm used to doing this on a PS4, so you used to see PSN names. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so the names that everyone uses, it's actually quite interesting. So let's see where we are at the moment, as I was off screen for just a second. So I got Mo Sullivan and Wilco there just left to make their lap times in here, and they're all out laps here right now. But don't worry, guys, I'll be getting used to all of the gamer tag names before we even get to the second race next week. Usually doesn't take me more than one race. So let's see where we are. We still got AMG Reckless holding on to provisional pole position at the moment at 130.4. Smitty currently in second, 130.7. And Breeding Cow got his way up all the way to P3 at 131 there. 131.046 with Coleman 131.049. Just a few thousandths off of each other's time, so that's actually pretty close and pretty competitive, which just tells me that this is going to be quite an interesting race. They're going to have a lot of close racing, and I think there's always going to be some sort of battle to follow on track, which is definitely going to be quite interesting. Going on board with Mo Sullivan here right now in his Alfa Romeo. Let's see how his lap is currently going. He's on his hot lap here right now, running through sector 1. It really is not too bad of a sector on this track. Some of these chicanes are a little bit more difficult than you would expect, to get through, especially when you're racing against another car. You just got to be so careful in terms of how much tire wear you actually have and how you're handling your fuel on this race. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how some of these drivers handle this track. I know when I started racing in F1 games first, and they added Russia after they had the first race, it was quite difficult for me getting used to this track. That was quite a while ago. Of course, it's fine now, but still sometimes you do tend to have difficulties with some of these corners. Those 90-degree turns are not always as easy as you would expect them to be to get through. It's quite difficult sometimes for drivers to get through them. So I know we have a few drivers back out on track from the top of the board there right now, trying to get a better lap time in. So Mo Sullivan's time is a 131.9. Let's see who else is running. So I think this Wilco is left to get any sort of lap time. Let's see if he's on a hot lap here or not, and definitely is, as we're going to stay on board with his AlphaTauri as he goes through. Let's see where he's in sector 1 right now, and hopefully gets to make a lap time. We have just under 4.5 minutes left in this qualifying session, so very limited amount of time for him to actually get this done. He's going to have to just hope that he doesn't invalidate this current lap here, because it's going to be very close in terms of him getting back into the pits and getting back out again. switch back to the overhead view. So I think the worst time we have is Brembo at a 133.1 so far. I think the worst was a 134 before. So we're definitely getting better with it. But with just about a 3-second difference between our current pole sitter there and driver down in 16, and that's an invalidated lap there. Not too bad with just a 3-second difference, just a few tenths off from everyone there. And we got our top 2 cars, that's Reckless and Smitty in the 130s. And most of our drivers in the 131s coming all the way down to P11. So not too bad at all, I would say. We got just about under 3 minutes left in the session here. That is actually enough time for a driver to actually get out right now and be able to make a lap time in here. Of course, it takes a minute and a half to get around and then start your hot lap. So definitely enough time to do that. But just going to have a chance of just doing just one single hot lap here right now. I think Cole might be on a hot lap, and let's follow along with him. Definitely is, and he's trying to improve his time from P4 right now with a 131.049. He's trying to get maybe a tenth more just to get past Briefing Cow there in P3. So honestly, I gotta say, it's been quite an interesting start for the first race of the season here for them. Just getting a good qualifying in. So I expect it's going to be quite an interesting race. I don't know if we're going to have any safety car or VSCs in this race. I really can't say. It's going to be the first time I'm looking at these guys racing as well. So if anyone wants to let me know what usually happens here, please feel free to go ahead and do so. I'm not sure how close the racing is going to be, but I can tell it's going to be quite an interesting one. I think there's also going to be something to follow on track. I think that was just a purple sector 2 he just did there. So let's see how sector 3 goes. Just switching back on, let's see. So we still got Wilco. He's the only car who hasn't made a lap time here as yet. We're gonna have a look at our official starting grid in just a bit, as we're coming right down to the end of qualifying here right now, and just a few more changes happening. As we can see, I think a year ago I'm just moved up to P5 there, and there's gonna be quite a lot of changes happening at the end of the qualifying session. A lot tends to happen at that point with drivers just barely making a better lap time in most of the instances. So we're just going to keep an eye on that, as the leaderboard will be changing just a bit, getting right down to the end of the session here. Just about 15 seconds left now, and that's going to be it. Anyone not over the line will not be able to make another lap time. They're going to have to just settle for what they have and just be happy with that. We're going to start to see some drivers just retire off from the session, so we can just get into the race that much faster here. And that is it. Qualifying is over, guys. Anyone currently running a lap will be able to finish that set lap, but anyone who hasn't gone across the line to start a hot lap as yet, they're not going to be able to do so. So we're going to see most drivers retiring to the pits, and most drivers just retiring from the session right now here. Let's switch on through to someone who is currently still running, at least for the moment, so we'll have a view of a car running on track for the time at least. And there we have it. Most of our drivers have finished their lap. Some of them are retiring from the session, just so we can get on faster into our race session. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting start. I'm not sure how many of you think we're going to have a safety car before the end of lap 1 here, or maybe even a BSC. It can tend to happen even with a bit of a run to go just as the race gets started. I think it's just a chance. I think we're going to have to just take on this to see whether we're going to have any minor or major incidents happen at the start of this race. You always tend to usually have some minor incidents, maybe cars just bumping into each other just a little bit, just trying to get ahead. But major incidents, it's possible that we might be able to see one or maybe two of those happen. We could get a full-on safety car, but we'll have a look at how that goes. It just depends on how competitive these guys are gonna get on the opening race for the season here. I think everyone here is, you know, they're professional in what they do. So esports races like this, guys know that, you know, races are not won on the first lap. It does take some time, and you know, you just don't force a overtake where there isn't one available for you to go on. So there is our official starting grid. It's going to be AMG Reckless on pole for this one here in Russia. Briefing Cow is going to start alongside him in second. Then we got Singh there in P3. Smitty starting fourth. Jagerbaum in fifth. I got Lord going to start in sixth. Colm in seventh. We got Grimmy in eighth. And we got Mashman in ninth. Mo Sullivan is going to start in 10. Did quite had some trouble getting a good lap time in, but definitely got it in. We got Dizzle in 11th. We got Leo in 12th. I got Lim in 13. Brembo is currently 14. I got Requaz in 15 and Bored there 16. Wilco didn't get to set the lap time in the Alpha Tour. He's going to have to start at the back of the grid there in 17. And some quite interesting lap time. So we're going to see how well the race start does go here. I think it's going to be quite an interesting run getting down into turn 1 with at least our top 5 to 6 cars, or maybe even an entire top 10. Just going to be that close of racing, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, because you know, at some point on the track it just gets so narrow getting around a turn. There's just room for just one row of car to go through. So if you know, guys do try to force their way, someone's going to go wide, someone's going to have a collision with another car, and definitely going to be resulting either a VSC or a safety car. On lap 1, you know, we tend to have full-on safety cars on a lot of races, because a lot of drivers just get bunched up going into the first turn. But let's see how it goes on this situation. You know, drivers do tend to follow the rules more than half of the time, we'll say, and just avoid these kind of incidents. And it's always fun to see some good racing happening where drivers don't force an overtake where one isn't available for them, and just to keep the race as close and interesting as possible. There's always chances. It's going to be a 50% race, so it's going to be quite more than long enough time to get overtakes done. Of course, there's going to be the pit stops to look forward to as well. We're going to have a look at how Pitstop Strategy is going to be here at Russia. If these guys are going to be doing just pushing hard for a one stop, or just you know, taking it easy and just doing a two stop, just not to put as much pressure on their tires. And we just have a look at that, because it's always quite interesting to see what sort of race strategy these guys use. If we're not able to see how much fuel they're actually using, which I think is a feature they should have added to the game, but we're going to be able to see what tires they do change on to when they do actually make that pit stop. And you know, it's going to be interesting to see. And definitely we're going to have some one stops, we're going to have some two stops, and with some incidents happening on track, definitely resulting maybe in 3 or 4 stops for some of these cars. And yeah, so we should be loading straight onto the track in just a bit to get started here. Alright guys, so we've just started with our formation lap here, as AMG Reckless is going to lead the pack around Russia here. It's going to be their one lap around this track just before they get started race, just to get a little more temperature into these tires. And yeah, we're going to definitely probably see that happen. There's your predicted pit stop strategy. So I think, as it seems, even drivers starting on the softs, the game is saying they can actually do a one stop here and go straight on to the mediums. Of course, that's going to be a little bit more of a aggressive strategy in this race, if you're going to start on the softs and go to the mediums and then go all the way to the end. Of course, it's only 27 laps, so I gotta say, with the lap time being a minute and a half of 27 laps, definitely it is more than possible to actually do the one stop doing a soft to medium strategy. But of course, if the drivers are going to want to play it safe, they're definitely going to try and do a soft to hard strategy, or maybe a medium to hard strategy. Of course, I've seen drivers on occasions do a strategy involving starting on mediums and then going to the softs to the end of the race, which does actually help sometimes. But this all depends, guys. It's gonna all depend on whether we have a full-on safety car happen in this race, because that does tend to affect your you know, your race strategy, because you do have something planned. And if we do have a safety car, or even a VSC, sometimes can actually hold you up just a little bit and just cause you know, some hardship in the race. So let's get some stats on screen. All right, so we're gonna leave that on. I'm going to take that telemetry off. I don't think we need that for the time being. I've started to take those off recently. And I'm gonna just take that off as well, maybe. We're gonna leave position changes on and leave the gap data off for the time being. At least for the first lap, I want to leave that off, and then we're gonna be putting that back on very shortly after the first lap. So for the time being, let's just leave that off. So know what position changes are happening without me calling them out. We're just gonna have a look at that leaderboard on our left hand side of the screen there. I think everyone is just about getting back into the grid position. We're going to wait for the final car to get into position there and then get started with the Russian Grand Prix here. So it should be quite an interesting one. Alright guys, here we think we're about ready to go. Alright, there we go. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we got a good view on this end. And they're off. Let's see how turn 1 is about to go here. We got quite a good getaway with everyone. I don't think any incidents down at the back. And yes, a few position changes happening all the way down at the back. Top 3 cars are still right where they started. I think Briefing Car was just trying to hold back Singh just a bit. And we got a car going wide. So our front of us seems to be getting away pretty fine. We're just trying to go through the rest of the see how everyone else is holding up at the moment here. And we already have a safety car for an incident down somewhere on the track. Burnbow is out of the race, so that's a full-on safety car before we even get out of sector 1 here. So that's going to be about 2 or 3 more laps under the safety car. We have quite a few position changes that happen here. So let's see. Jägerbomb gained 1 position. Grimmy lost 3. Smitty lost 2. Com is right where he started. Leo there gained 4 positions. Let's see, we got Lim, he gained 2 as well. Lord lost 6. And this he lost, where is he? He lost 2 positions. We got Riquaz, Bird, and Wilco all getting 1 position. Brembo lost 3 before he got knocked out of this race. I'm not sure who the incident was involved with. Definitely is going to probably be someone going into the pit, so we'll probably have to keep an eye on that. Of course, we're not able to catch every single incident that happens on track here. So AMG Reckless still leading this race as he started there P1. We got Briefing Out still there in P2 and Sync still in P3. So not a bad start for the 3 of them, at least holding on to their start positions. So we're just going to keep on them for just a bit. So they're going to have to just follow the safety car at least for about 3 laps before we do get racing here again. So yeah guys, not a bad start to the race. You know, having a safety car doesn't mean drivers are not, you know, that experienced with the racing or whatever. It's just incidents do tend to happen sometimes, and we got quite a few drivers taking pit stops right now, and I'm betting anything that most of these drivers are going on to the hard time. Oh, and that is severely damaged tire there that Riquaz has. He's getting in to go change that right now. That's a lot of vibration off of that car. I'm quite sure he's feeling that right now. I'm not sure if he's driving with a steering wheel or a controller, but definitely on a steering wheel. I think you'll feel it a lot more. Alright, so Mo Sullivan is on the medium tires, and we got Colm back out on the hard. As I said, I think quite a few drivers are going to be out on the hard tires here. Of course, it does affect your position just a little bit. And let's see, yeah, that I knew what happened there for a second. That little bit did just get mixed up for just a second there. But I think everything is fine, and we're back. Okay, again. So we got AMG Reckless is I was just thinking his name is AMG Reckless, and he's driving a Red Bull. It's quite interesting there. Not sure how happy the team is with that name, but yes, I guess they wanted a good driver. So anyway, AMG Reckless still leads the Russian Grand Prix, running behind the safety car though, at least for another 2 laps, so that we can get all of the debris cleared off track from Rembo's car there with that incident, and then safely get back to racing here. So not too bad of a start, as you said before. It's always something that tends to happen, especially tracks like Russia. Getting through the first sector is not something that always goes as cleanly as you would expect it to. It just depends on what track we're running on. Some of the tracks on the calendar, you know, guys can get through pretty well without any major incidents. But it does tend to happen sometimes, and you know, it's just unavoidable. So let's change this up a bit. We're going to take position changes off and put on back our gap, which is what we need, and I think that's about it. I'm not going to really put anything else on screen, because I just try to avoid the screen being too cluttered, and you know, we need to focus on the racing. And I think the most of the information that we need is the interval times between drivers, so that we actually know what battles to follow and whatnot. So we're just going to keep an eye on that, and from time to time in the race, we're actually going to check out what the penalties are like for some of these drivers. If they do start to get penalties, I'm not trying to, you know, put a commentator's curse on them here, just trying to visualize how this is actually going to go down. I really didn't want to assume that we're having a safety car in the race, but you know, I know how races like this usually go. From experience, I'm speaking, it tends to happen. We gotta, you know, prepare for it. But you know, with a safety car at the start of the race, it's gonna be an advantage to quite a few of these drivers, and it's gonna be a disadvantage to a lot of these drivers. I gotta say, it all depends. You know, it depends on where they started in the race and where they are now. You know, some drivers do unintentionally get involved with incidents that happen that cause a safety car, and you know, they have damaged wings, they take a puncture, and you know, and things like that happen. As you know, look what's happening there right now. We have most of them taking a 5-second penalty because he had a severe collision with another car, and this happens a lot under a safety car scenario. And guys, honestly, this is from personal experience. I'm telling you, I've driven in a lot of these esports races. It's just so difficult not to hit the car in front of you when you're driving under the safety car. I don't know why. It's just that very much difficult, because you're just trying to keep close to the guy in front of you and try not to keep too close, but just sometimes, I don't know, if we're not focused on what we're doing or what happens. I'm speaking on behalf of myself here as well, not just the driver driving here. And we're going to have the safety car in on this lap so we can get back to racing, which is actually pretty good to see. I thought you probably would have to wait until the end of lap 4, but it happened in sector 1, so it's good. The car is going to be in by the end of lap 3. Yeah, as I was saying, it's very difficult not to hit the car in front of you, and I've seen this happen on multiple occasions where drivers are bumping into the car in front of them, and it's not something good, because it does cause damage on your car. If you're the one hitting the driver in front of you, you're probably going to be losing an end plate on your front wing, or maybe worse. So they have to be careful. I think we're just about to get started here. We got just about 2 chicanes left to go around, and AMG Reckless is going to be the first car to get on the gas here, and let's see how well he does get away. He does have the biggest advantage, being with all of that free air, and everyone seems to be getting it pretty fine as we're going to switch through just to see what's going on down the back, which I expect is where anything possibly could potentially happen here. Everyone seems to be getting it pretty well so far. Oh, we got Smitty and Leo getting into it a bit. Leo going a bit wide, but he got him back on track. Leo stays in 12 for the moment at least, and holds it. We got Smitty coming behind him, Cone coming behind him as well. All pretty close together so far. We got a bit of a gap starting to build out front, but half a second at more between Briefing, Carl, and Cindy and AMG Reckless. So they're trying to get away from each other as much as they can. We got Cone getting ahead in 13 now, Smitty down to 14. Cone does have that, he does have that penalty though, so he's going to have to deal with that at some point in this race. If it's a 3-second penalty, we're going to have a look at that in just a bit. But so far so good in terms of getting the restart of this race going. We're on lap 4 currently and running up lap 27, so not too bad. We're still going to see some more pit stops happening down towards the middle part of the race. We got Lord and Wilco, I think, switching positions here. Let's see what's happening with the two of them. That is a Mercedes up into 9th. Oh, and Mashman now up into 10th. What's happening to Wilco there down at the back? Oh, he's side to side right now with Mashman here, I think. No, that's Leo. I bet on that. I thought that was Wilco here. Well, let's see what's happening with Wilco's car. He seems to be having some trouble with his car here. I'm not sure. That's this with a 3-second penalty there. I do tend to call them out as I see them, so avoid getting those penalties, guys. Not sure what's going on with Wilco. He didn't seem to be moving as fast as he should at first there. And let's see, we got Bird and I think Dizzle switching positions here, and Dizzle might be trying to get it back. Let's see, he's right up to the rear of Bird's car. very close to each other here right now as we're following on board with Borg, just having a look at Diesel coming down at the back here. And he is pretty close, locking up his tires just a bit, getting around those turns. Not too bad though. We got Briefing Cow is trying to keep the gap under a second between himself and AMG Reckless, who's currently leading the race right now. He wants to be in a DRS zone when we have the DRS activated back here. Oh, and that's Diesel going pretty wide down at the back there. He's going to have to be a little bit careful about that. I think Bird might have gotten a little bit too close to that wall there, and he would like. And Briefing Cow with a penalty. So first penalty of the race so far. Drivers are going to have to be very careful. And as usual, you know, guys, we're going to have a look at how penalties affect the race position coming down to the end of this race. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how that plays out. But you know, again, so far it's actually pretty good. So let's see. AMG Reckless currently leading now by 1.1 seconds. He's fighting very hard right now. Oh, and he has the fastest lap, 135.019 so far. And he's trying really hard to just keep his gap over a second from Briefing Cow, who's trying to keep the gap under a second right now. He's just going and coming, and it's just so interesting to see that happen. We got Sync running in P3 right behind of them. He's like, you guys can fight it out. I'm just gonna be at the back here, just trying to keep my gap under a second. Maybe just try to catch up as much as I can. And then we got Jägerbomb. His gap is just out of that 1 second range as well. Grimmy there, I think he's doing pretty well. He's got his gap to 2/10 just behind. And we're following with him right now, just running behind that Ferrari of Jägerbomb. So he's trying to chase him down, trying to fight it out for P4 right now, and then maybe try to get up to into the podium if he can. Of course, we do have the pit stops yet to happen with the guys out in front here. They're running on the softs. They're definitely going to have to take that one mandatory pit stop. It is going to be a dry race, so they do have to do that pit stop, whether they like it or not. Otherwise, they do get an automatic disqualification from the race. So, you know, running on lap 6, still not too bad so far. We got a few position changing. I think Lim is falling down the order. He's just gone all the way down to 10th. Now he's down to 11th. He might have some damage. Let's have a look at what's happening with him down there. Oh, and he spun around. And that's a virtual safety car for that incident. He has absolutely no front wing, and that Red Bull driver definitely is frustrated at this point, just trying to get that car going again and hopefully get into the pits and get it back, and maybe trying to make up some positions. He was running pretty well out in front, way up into the top 10, and now he's all the way down out in 13. He's going to have to take a pit stop, and you know that's going to cost him dearly. He's going to cost him a lot of time, and we just got finished with the virtual safety car, and I think AMG Reckless was trying to take advantage of the VSC and get in for his pit stop, and he's just done that. He's going onto the hard tires, which means he's going all the way to the end of the race on these. There's going to be no more pit stops for him. We got Singh now leading the Russian Grand Prix. Let's have a look at what's happening out front with Jägerbomb running in second. Grimmy now up into P3 and running just behind Jägerbomb now, so he has a better chance of getting into podium right now if he's able to you know, capitalize on this, and just hopefully something happens that keeps AMG Reckless from getting back out front too fast for them. But let's see how that's going to go. It's quite close between the top 3 here right now. They're all just about half a second away from each other and going. I think I'll bring down at the bottom. There's a bit of a gap between most of our drivers down there, except for Lord there. He and Mashman are actually pretty close together still. So we're following on board, well, overhead with Jägerbomb right now in his Ferrari. So we got a McLaren currently, Ferrari in second, and Grimmy coming in his Mercedes in third. Let's see how well these 3 are going to race each other. And let's see, the gap seems to be starting to increase by a tenth or two. And let's see how well that's going to go for them. But yeah, guys, I gotta say, from my perspective, it's been quite an exciting race from the start so far. Qualifying was actually a lot of fun to watch, even over the 18-minute qualifying. Sometimes some qualifying are just so boring, you know, it's just not a lot of fun to watch. But it was actually really interesting to watch the qualifying that these guys did. And the race start with a safety car just before we even hit the end of Sector 1. And then a VSC a few more laps in. Not too bad for a race start so far. It's always a lot of fun. There's always a lot of action happening on tracks like Russia. So it's a lot of fun to see that. Let's continue on watching on. I think Lord is trying to break his gap down right now behind Mashman there. We got Colm. He's got up all the way to 7th right now with the few more pit stops that happened under that VSC. I'm not sure how many cars pit on the VSC. I didn't actually pay attention to that. We got still a few drivers with these penalties here though. That have to be very careful. So I think you can have a look at the penalties for the moment at least. So let's have a look at that. I'm not going to look at position changes for now. Maybe coming close to the last 5 laps of the race, we're going to have a look at position changes. Yes, so maybe you can have an idea of who's going to be getting driver of the day. So far, Boyd has gained the most positions here. Let's see, stops. So we have so many drivers making 2 stops already, 3 drivers there, and most of our other drivers have made 1 stop. We're still in the middle of the field. We got Wilco and Diesel there. They are yet to make a pit stop, and our top 4 cars, that's Sink, Jägerbomb, Grimmy, and Boyd, they got to make their pit stops there as well. Tires that currently everyone is running on, so you can have a look here. And Mo Sullivan is out of the race. Not sure what's happened to him down at the back there, but I think he might have retired in the pits. My apologies, I think he did retire in the pits, which I think is one of the league rules. We didn't really speak too much about them, but if you're going to retire in an esports race, definitely the safest thing to do, or the recommended thing to do, is just drive into the pits and then just retire your car there. Don't retire it on the tracks, because things like that do tend to cause a safety car to happen, because that car is going to be in the way of racing at that point. So I think we're here to look at penalties. So Com getting a 5-second penalty, and if he takes another pit stop, I'm not sure, did he take a pit stop? Yeah, he took a stop already. So if he does take another pit stop, then he's going to get rid of that 5-second penalty. If not, that time is going to be added to his race time at the end of the race and cost him maybe a position or 2, depending on how far the car behind him is. So he's going to want to be careful about that. And most of our drivers having 3-second penalties, with Leader having a 6-second penalty. We'll see how that changes coming further down to the end of the race, as we're going to get rid of that graphic now and get back to racing here. We still are following with Sink, Jägerbomb, and Grimmy here, P1, 2, and 3 currently. And where is AMG Reckless? He's currently into 9th. I think he's gained 1 position up so far, with Briefing Cow just behind him in the 2nd. Briefing Cow is under a 2nd behind him, so that's going to be something to look into there, as well as they're going to be following each other. And we got Mashman here currently running in 5th, and we got Lord there in 6th. He is actually pretty close. We're going on board right now with Lord to see how close he's getting to Mashman, and if he's able to get an overtake done or not. Hey, he's having the DRS. Sorry, I didn't put the graphic onto the one, so you can't see when they activate the DRS or not, but you do hear the little sound. And he's going side by side with him. Let's see if he's able to take the inside on this turn. Okay, unfortunately not. You're gonna have to hold it there for now at least and give it another try. Now these 90-degree turns here are actually quite difficult to overtake with us, so we're going to follow along with Lord and Mashman right now and have a look to see if these guys are going to be switching positions here or not. I think Lord is looking for a gap to go on here, but he's just not finding one, which is a straight on view to get through. And Grimmy is in the pit, so that moves everyone up a position here. Gonna follow on with Lord here, as he's extremely close right now. Let's get on board with him and let's see how well. So his teammate is currently Grimmy, who's currently in the pits, and he's trying to get up into P4 right now. Let's see if he's able to get this done. He's been keeping close enough to keep getting DRS, but Mashman is just defending pretty hard against him, just trying to hold on to P4 right now. He's like, letting me hold on to it just a little. Oh, got a little bit quickly on the rear there, getting off of that corner. It's probably going to cost him if he's not able to get back on the power fast enough, and he seems to be going pretty well so far. He's gained back about 2/10 of time from Lord here. Lord, of course, having the DRS advantage, and just activated that there as well, as we heard the little beep. Once you're familiar with the game, you just know exactly what's happening there. But if you're not, when you do that, hear that little beep sound, it just means that a driver has activated his DRS and is going to have that advantage. So he's actually getting pretty close here right now, so we're just going to keep an eye on it as they continue on like this. Oh, and this is going to be quite an easy pass now as Mashman goes into the pits. That puts Lord up into P4 now. And Bird currently leads this race as everyone else is currently pitting. We got 2 drivers out of this session so far, still with 15 drivers. I think we're going to finish off with an exciting race for the first race of the season here. So Bird currently leading this race in his racing point. He is about 5.2 seconds ahead of Lord, who is currently now running in 2nd. We got Colm there running in P3 on the podium there right now with his penalty for 5 seconds. So he's gonna have, if he wants to keep everything the way it is, he's just gonna have to not make another pit stop and finish the race and keep the car behind of him over 5 seconds behind. If he wants to get rid of that penalty, that's actually the only way he's going to be able to do this, and it's not going to be an easy task to get done. Currently he has AMG Reckless behind him on fresher tires right now, and he's only running 3.7 seconds behind, so he's gonna have to be a little bit careful about that as we're gonna be switching through a little bit. And let's have a look at what's happening in the field. And that's Wilco retiring from the session there. Has he retired in the pits? I don't think so, because it's a safety car. Something has happened on track, and we're gonna try and have a look at that if we can. Hopefully we can have a look at that as Lim Jane, he gets around here. Let's just go on board with him, see if it, oh no, it's already gone. We're not going to be able to see what happened to Wilco's car there. Anyway, that's going to put Lim up into P14 now, and we're now under a safety car again. Now, as you said, guys, things like this tend to hamper a race for most of the drivers. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. When a safety car happens, just all depends on what exactly you were doing on track when this does happen. Some of the drivers are going to be like kicking themselves, like, why did I pit? I could have just waited another lap or two and got free pit stop under the safety car. Trust me, a lot of drivers are going to be thinking that. We did see a few drivers pit just before this safety car happened, and they're going to be wondering, like, why couldn't I wait a lap or two more and just, you know, save my time, save some time actually on the pit stop. So let's see what's happened so far with this. Oh, we got AMG Reckless back into the pits. He's taking advantage of the safety car right now, trying to get onto even fresher tires if he can. And I think Coleman's pitted as well. Yes, he has. So he wants to get rid of that 5-second penalty. He doesn't want to take it to the end of the race with him. And this is going to be Bird continuing to lead the race. Grimmy now running in second. Singh getting back up into P3. Now we got Hagerbomb running P4. Lord currently in P5. We got Coleman 6. Reckless in 7. We got Briefing Cow there in 8. Lord Requas in 9th. We got Dizzle in probably coming out in 10th. Well, a lot of the rest of the guys are currently in the pits. We have to let them get out before we do confirm their position. But yes, quite an interesting race so far. 2 safety cars, 1 VSC. Not a bad race at all. A lot of action happening on track. It's been a lot of close racing, I gotta say, though. And you know, it does tend to mean incidents will tend to happen from time to time. Speaking about, you know, about incidents, I know there could going to be race incidents reported after the race, and you know, everyone does tend to have to record their race as part of the rules for the league, just to, you know, if you want to report a driver for whatever reason, for maybe taking you out of the race or maybe causing damage to your car, you do have to have footage to support what you're saying. So, you know, it's kind of what guys usually do in the league. So you have to record your screen, and you're going to be able to provide that footage to the race stewards at the end of the race here, and talk about that just a little bit. So we have absolutely no idea who's going to be winning this race as yet. I'm not sure who we're going to be talking to on the podium as yet, but definitely we're going to be talking to 3 of these drivers. So we're going to just have, you know, maybe an idea of what the aspect of, what the race was for them, you know, involving the safety car and the VSC, which is what I think where my question is being mostly based upon. Because I really want to know, did they get an advantage or a disadvantage out of these safety cars and PSCs, and you know, how did that actually affect their race or their race strategy? So we're going to talk to them in about 13 laps time, just to see what they thought about all of this. And we're at the halfway point of the race right now, so it's halfway, 13 laps in, and there's so much has happened so far. So let's see how much more is going to happen going down to the end of the race. Also, guys, I'm not sure how good the audio quality of in terms of me doing the commentary is on the stream right now. So if you guys can actually just rate that for me in the Discord or something, just let me know how good the quality is or how bad it is in terms of my voice coming through from the commentary. I did adjust the settings earlier today, very similar to what I do on the PlayStation, but the only difference is that right now I'm using a different headset on the PS4 than I'm using on the Xbox, because that one just works on the PS4 only. It's wireless and it was made to work on that. I haven't actually tried it to see if it works on the Xbox, but I'll have to give it a try before the next race, because if it does, that one is actually so much better in terms of doing commentary with. I don't know why, but I used to use this one before on the PS4 as well. It used to work fine, but then when you just get a better one, it's like, why is this one not that good? So just let me know how it is in terms of that. I'm not sure, but I'll have a listen back to it later tonight myself as well. And there we have. So safety car is going to be in on this lap. I'm going to get back to racing here, which is what we always look forward to. I'll tell you from the perspective of myself as well. I've done this, so I can say it for myself. No one likes to be behind a safety car. We hate having safety cars. And sometimes it's an advantage, but we prefer the safety car for not be more than 1 lap long. Trust me, if you're an F1 driver in an esports race, you do not want a safety car more than 1 lap. Or maybe just maybe a lap and a half or 2, just so that you can get a free pit stop if needed. If it's not going to be useful to you, we just don't want it, because we don't like driving that slow. It's always difficult. And we're about to get back racing here right now. Let's see how well this is going to go. So Boyd leads, Grimmy in second, Sip running in third. They're going to get away pretty well. Let's see how the back of the grid goes though. Everyone seems to be getting, well, everyone seems to be getting away pretty good so far. Cole is chasing down Lord right now, going side by side with him. I think they're through that section, and let's see if he's able to get by. He's gotten up into P5. Lord is down into P6. So good move from him, getting a position up before the end of the lap 14 here. Not too bad at all. Let's see if anyone else is able to gain a position here or not. And we got Grimmy out in front. He's running second behind Board, and he's very close right now. So let's see if he's able to get a position up or not. He's lost a 10th as we were talking about it, and hopefully he's able to get it back, but does have Singh coming just behind him there as well, as trying to keep a look on the most of the gaps that we have existing right now. It's all going to be pretty close between most of our drivers that are going to have to avoid. Oh, and Com took another penalty. He got rid of the 5-second penalty and took another penalty on. So maybe, hopefully, that's just a 3-second penalty, and he's able to maybe keep the car behind him for 3 seconds before we get to the end of the race, and maybe not lose a position because of that. But we're going to see how that goes. Let's get back on the overhead view and follow with AMG Reckless right now. I see he has Briefing Cow just behind him, so he's under a bit of pressure right now. Of course, Briefing Cow with a penalty there, he's under some pressure himself as well. Has to get up as many positions as he can here, just to get rid of that penalty in terms of race finish, just not to lose the position here. AMG Reckless is also pretty close to Lord out in front in 6th. So we're going to keep an eye on these 3 here as they go through to see how that goes. And we got Grimmy getting past Board out in front. They're going side by side. Let's see who's getting through this one. Grimmy has the inside and takes it. No, Board has got to get it back. He has to hold it back just behind for now as they go around the Parwalka there. And I have Grimmy on the inside, but not sure if he's going to be able to keep it. Does seem like he actually has it now though. And Board goes down into 2nd. Grimmy takes away the lead of the race and holds it. And let's see how far back he has. Board just about 3/10 behind him, so not too far back. He's going to have to be very careful about keeping the lead, and not too far more to go. He just actually a bit of way more to go when you're leading the race. He still has at least another 12 laps of racing left here, so that's a lot of time to keep the lead of the race. He's going to have to try his best to increase his gap, which he's actually doing. He's gained 3/10 of Board already, and he's doing pretty well in that Mercedes. So that's Board down to 2nd, lost the lead of the race. Not sure if anything has to do with tires, but they're both on the medium tires right now, so I don't think that's anything to do with it. Might have been Grimmy just got a better go at him and just took it. And yeah, so he's up into P1, leading the Russian Grand Prix right now, so great for him. And Board still is in 2nd, still on the podium for the moment here. And we got Sink running in P3 at the moment. He's getting pretty close to Board here right now, so follow with him to have a look. He's going to be trying to get up a position. Maybe he's thinking, oh, and we have DRS back online again after that 2nd safety car, so DRS is back available. Board is going to be getting DRS if he can keep his car under that 1 second gap, which he's going to be fighting to do right now. Because I don't think he wanted to give up the lead for that race, but just had to let it go because there was just no other way. And we got Singh just coming up behind him I think he has to be a little bit more worried about Singh getting past than him getting past Grimmy back to get back to the lead of the race. But I'm not sure where his focus is right now at the moment. I think his teammate Colm running in 5th right now. His teammate absolutely cannot help him right now. He's going to have to just fight it for himself. He has 2 cars very close behind. That's Singh. That's, oh yeah, I think he might have to be a little bit worried here. Boyd has 2 cars just really close behind him. He's going to have to be very careful of what he does. Singh is getting under a bit of pressure from Jagerbomb here right now as well. Just 0.4 of a second behind. This is the kind of racing we actually do look forward to seeing. These guys getting so close together. But this tends to happen after a safety car. Everyone is just so bunched up that the racing is just so interesting to watch, with everyone just a few tenths off of each other's time and just running in the train all around the track. And it's not easy to get ahead. And that's someone falling down. Lord is falling down the order. He might have spun around on the track somewhere down at the back there. Yep, I think he did. Not sure how that even happened. So let's see. Grimmy still leads. Boyd in 2nd. Sink in P3. Jagerbomb P4. Colm down P5. AMG Reckless running 6th. Griffin Cow 7. Diesel in 8th. Requaz in 9th. We got Leo 10. Smitty Kurzi 11. Nashman in 12. I got Lim in 13. And Lord there now all the way down to 14. He's in the pits trying to repair damage he's took on whatever happened down in the back of the track there. As we got very close racing happening between Birds and Singh here right now. I think Jagerbomb is trying to get in on this, and Grimmy is going to be a part of this here as well. He's going to follow on board just to have a look at him out front. Bird is putting the pressure on him right now, just 0.4 of a second behind, but the same pressure is on Bird with Singh just behind him as well. Extremely close racing between our top 3 drivers, and this is like the most exciting thing we can actually have to see. Top cars running out in front, finding it out for the race win right now. Lap 17 of 27, we have about 10 laps remaining to go here. And this is going to be quite interesting. Oh, Leo is out of the session now as well. That leaves us with 13 drivers. And he's out. That's a VSC. Not going to be a full-on safety car. I think drivers here are going to be very happy about that. That is not a full-on safety car, because I'm not sure what they would have done. It would have just changed things maybe just a little bit if it was a full safety car. But just a VSC. So 2 safety cars, 2 VSCs. Not too bad so far. And let's see what's going to happen in the final 10 laps of this race. The VSC is... it runs pretty short. Oh, and we have a pit stop happening. Bird getting into the pits right now. He's trying to maybe take some advantage out of this VSC, but that's going to be over pretty soon before he even gets to the end of his pit stop here. I think before he gets back out, that VSC is going to be over, as he's falling down the order a bit there now. So Singh now running in P2, just 1.1 second behind Grimmy. Grimmy is going to be smiling at this right now, because he now has a gap of over a second to the car behind him, and he's starting to lose that. DRS is back enabled. We're back racing again. VSC is over, and Bird is going to come out, and let's see where he is. He's all the way down in 11th right now. AMG Reckless took a pit stop there as well. This has been quite an interesting session so far. Gotta say, really interesting racing from these guys, and it's been a lot of fun for me to watch as well. It's been over 2 weeks for me without doing an esports race, doing any commentary on an esports race, so it's just a lot of fun getting back to this for a new year as well. So we look forward to a lot more racing with these guys. So let's see, Grimmy running on P1 still. I'll see how much pressure he's under. Not a lot of pressure at the moment, but that gap is under a second. He's going to have to be very careful with Singh here right now. Keeping that gap under a second is very dangerous for him. He's going to have to try and increase it. And then Jagerbomb has his gap under a second too behind Singh. So he's just a DRS train with the 3 of them. Colm there has about 2.5 seconds more to gain before he gets up into Jagerbomb's DRS zone. Briefing car rested running 5th, Diesel there in 6th. These 3 guys still have penalties here. Let's see if we can have a look at how much the penalties are. We got Lord and Mashman there. Have pretty close gaps between each other. We're going to have a look at penalties here now. Penalties, so oh man, that is horrible to see. Colm only has 6 seconds of penalties, but Briefing cow 12 seconds of penalties. I'm telling you right now, that's going to hurt this race. It's going to hurt this race so bad. He's going to just be falling down the order when we watch him go across the line. Even if he goes across the line P1, he's falling way down with these cars being so close together right now. And this with a 3-second penalty, not too bad. But then we have a Lim there, 12 seconds as well. Board with an 8-second penalty. And I think he probably served about maybe 5 seconds when he went into the pits. Maybe, I'm not even sure. But that's going to hurt races here. So let's get rid of the penalties here right now. We don't need to see that anymore. And back to the race we have going on. So Grimmy still leads. His gap with Singh just behind, still under a second right now. And Bomb there still running in P3. He's under a second himself still. So these three have still been chasing each other around. This race is about to come to an end pretty fast, I gotta say, because with we're on lap 19 of 27 already. We're gonna go into lap 20 pretty soon, and it's just when you get to this point in the race, at least getting to 70-75% of the race, the remaining percentage, just the laps just go away very quickly on you, especially when you're hurrying to get a position up and trying to just, you know, keep maintaining that gap there. It's just so hard, and the lap just goes away so quickly, and you have to avoid invalidating your lap. It just, the penalty is the last thing you need at this point in the race, and most of our drivers have kept themselves clean of penalties, which is really good to see. You know, but sometimes it's just unavoidable, especially when you're involved in an incident or such. You do tend to have the penalties happen. So let's keep an eye on these guys as they continue to go on. Gaps are not too bad as they are at the moment. We have Singh just about half a second behind Grimmy now. So he's gained some time on Grimmy here actually. So Grimmy is going to become a little bit worried that can this race end right now so I can keep a race win here. But he's going to have to keep his gap half a second and more, and maybe try to get it over a second if he can, to keep Singh behind and keep the race win if he wants it. Jägerbomb is starting to lose some time actually. His gap is starting to go over a second now from Singh there, and Briefing Cow trying to gain some time. He has Combe just behind him, but 0.3 of a second. Let's have a look at what's happening down in the back here, as Combe is trying to get past Briefing Cow for P4 right now, and then work his way up to Jägerbomb there in P3. And that is Lord with the fastest lap of 132.8, I think that is. And he's currently running down the bottom there, but he's trying to get back up. Lim down in the pits now. Gap here has increased just a bit, so we're going to go back out front to our leader with Grimmy running P1, Singh running in P2. He's still about 0.4 of a second behind now, but still pretty close. This is actually so close, but still can be a mile away in F1. And we have a VSC. Something happened down at the back. I'm not sure. I think it's with Lim down at the back there. I think it's happened down in Sector 1, if I'm correct about that. I'm not sure we're going to be able to see what happened. And that's 3 VSC so far, 2 safety cars, and on lap 20 and going. Hopefully the rest of the race will be kept without any of these incidents happening. But we lost quite a few drivers here. We lost Lim, we lost Leo, we lost Wilco, Mo Sullivan, and Brembo was the first driver to go. We only have 12 drivers remaining in this session here. But still, we still have more than 10 drivers remaining. That's actually pretty good. So we're gonna talk a bit about point distribution a bit when we get to the second race in terms of who is where and how these points are going to be distributed as well. But so for now, let's just keep ahead on what's happening here. So gap is now up to 1.2 seconds behind Grimmy and Singh. He's managed to get a gap up, and we got Combe there getting very close right now to Briefing Cow. Let's see, I think he lost a few tenths as I was even talked about it. That BSC is over, by the way. AMG Reckless getting very close to someone here, going side by side with I think that's with Lord there. It was, and he gets up into P10. Mashman with a 3-second penalty. That's not going to be too good for him there. Let's see if Requaz is able to get position back up here or not. Not sure if he's going to be able to get AMG Reckless on this one. AMG Reckless, of course, started on pole position here and is currently running in 10th. We'll be able to still at least get a point for the team there. Oh, and we got Combe and I think Briefing Cow going side by side with each other, trying to switch positions here. Combe is trying to get a head up into P4, and let's see if he's able to get this done or not. He's not able as yet. Still fighting it out with Briefing Cow. Gonna have to be very careful not to get any more penalties though. I think Briefing Cow is the one with 12 second of penalties, so I think he's good. He's gonna get P4 by default here anyway, but still I know how drivers are in F1. They definitely don't want it that way. They want to cross the line in P4. If I'm getting people, I want to cross the line P4. I don't want to get it just because the guy in front of me has penalties, but it does tend to happen that way sometimes, and you just have to take it as it is, just to get a penalty, get the point, sorry, and you're getting the points for your team, working towards that the championship here, especially for the drivers championship. You're going to get more points, and for the constructors as well, as team do compete to win the constructors and then focus on getting the Drivers' Championship as well. We're going to see who's going to get that at the end of the season for this second season here. So the gap is getting pretty close now as we're on lap 22. Just about 5.5 laps left to go in this race. Let's say about 5.5 laps left to go here. Gaps are a bit away from us, but we're going to get back out front and follow with our top three right now. Grimmy, Sink, and Jägerbomb still running P1, 2, and 3 here. Chasing each other all the way, maybe all the way to the end of the race. The gaps are under a second for all three of them. So DRS is available to the cars in second and third. That is for Sink and Jägerbomb there. But even with that advantage, there's still... Oh, and I thought I saw that happen. Jägerbomb has spun around. He lost the rear end getting off that turn. It's costing him a few positions now. He's now down into P5. He's now back and going again. I don't think he took any damage. Nope. Both end plates are on. He's good to go. But even not taking any damage, at least that was an advantage for him, not taking any damage. But still, he's lost 2 positions here now. He was running P3. He's now running P5. This is going to put Sink under less pressure now. He has his car 5 seconds behind him, and that car with a penalty there as well. So Grimmy is going to be under pressure here still from Sink. So on lap 23 here, guys, we're just going to keep an eye and see. Oh, AMG Records with a 3-second penalty. He probably is getting a bit frustrated down at the back there. I mean, he started this race in P1. He definitely doesn't want to be running all the way down in P10. I'm quite sure he's going to be a bit frustrated about that with whatever incidents happen, and how come he got all the way down there. So far it looks like we're going to be actually, let's just keep that for now, because anything can happen from this point down to the end of the race. But so far we have Grimmy, Sink, and currently Griffin car running P3, but I'm quite sure Chrome is going to be taking that position away from him, getting up into P3 because of penalties here. But let's see how this entire situation plays out as we get to the end of the race, and we're going to follow everyone as they do go across the line. 12 drivers remain in this race, Russian Grand Prix round 1, guys, for 2021. It's been quite an interesting race. We've had, I think I lost count now, was it 3 VSCs and 2 safety cars so far in the race, if I'm correct? That's what's happened so far. Our first safety car was before the end of Sector 1 on lap 1. So quite interesting. We have a move about to happen between Grimmy and Sink here. Grimmy is under some severe pressure right now. Just 3.5 laps left to go, and Grimmy is like, he needs to hold on to this right now. Sink is trying to take the inside. Let's see if he's going to be able to get this done. And he does get it done. Gets up into P1. Takes the lead away from Grimmy. Grimmy is down to P2 now. He's going to have to try and fight his way back if he wants to take away that lead again. And let's see if he's going to be able to do it. He has just about 3 laps left. It's actually more than enough time to get that overtake back done, but he's going to have to be very careful about it, not to take a penalty. And just to keep himself there. Either way, he's getting second here, but with the guys behind him having penalties. But still, you were leading. You're leading a race. You don't want to take second. Trust me. That guy is never going to be smiling on the podium just taking a second. It's only if you're going to be their first podium, then you're going to be really happy about it. But knowing drivers, if you're running in first for quite a few laps, you want to get it back. You're not going to want to settle for second or for third, And worse yet, if you're not even on the podium. As these two are racing here, anything can possibly happen. He can even get taken out of the race. Grimmy is going to have to be very careful to avoid a penalty and to try and get ahead of Sink here if he can. If he can't, he probably is going to have to hold it and settle for P2 at least for this race. But he's driving pretty well, and he's held on to the lead for quite a number of laps there, I would say. Of course, what he does have to look forward to is that he has the advantage of having the DRS now, which Sink was having all the time. Sink is not going to have any DRS now since he has no cars in front of him, and Grimmy is getting very close. Let's see if he's able to get the lead back from him before we get to the end of the race here. And he's trying to take the outside, going around that parabolic, trying to keep him just under the pressure, trying to make Sink make some sort of mistake here. It's amazing to see he can actually keep this close to the car in front of him, and he just keeps chasing him around, just looking for a gap to go on. And I think he's going to do this all the way down to the end of the race. I know we've been following the guys leading the race for quite a bit now, but I'm just keeping my eye down in the back to see what's happening, to see if anyone is getting under like half a second. We just just switch on to them and see what's going on. Jacob is about 0.7 of a second behind Colm right now. Not close enough to you keep an eye on, but we're just trying to see between our race leaders here, Sink and Grimmy, who's going to be taking the race win. Neither of them have any penalties. I think Grimmy is probably, I think his best chance, if he can get ahead of Sink, is just put the pressure on him as much as he can and force him into getting a penalty before the end of the race, so he just automatically gets the race win here. I think it's definitely what he probably is going to have to try and do, is force him into making some sort of mistake and just have that happen. But let's have a look on how that goes here. And they're still chasing each other around. I think this is going to go on all the way to the end of the race. We're on lap 26 right now. It's just under 2 laps left in the Russian Grand Prix right now, and it's going to be quite interesting to see who is going to take the race win. But with the penalties as they are, it looks like we're going to be speaking, hopefully we're going to be speaking to Sink and Grimmy, both of them. And let's see, let's switch this, where the penalty is at right now. So and we have Briefing Cow and Colm, both with 12 seconds of penalties. I think Colm has messed himself up on this one. So it's going to be Briefing Cow on the podium. No, actually, no, 12 seconds of penalties. Jagerbomb probably is going to take it away from both of them. So that's 8.5, about 9 seconds. Yeah, I think Jagerbomb should be able to make it all the way up into P3 and take away a podium position here, coming down from P5. So he should be able to do that with these guys having so many penalties. He just has to just keep himself as close as possible. But we're going to keep an eye on that and see how that works out for him. That definitely, those amount of penalties are going to push Briefing Cow and Colm down the order. Gap is just about 0.8 of a second between Sink and Grimmy right now. They're still chasing each other down, and we all know how this is going to go out. It's going to go out to the very final lap here, which we just started. Actually, we're on lap 27 right now of this race and going down to the end. And it doesn't look like Grimmy is going to be able to get past Sink here, unless Sink does make some sort of mistake and just loses maybe a few tenths. It will open up a gap for Grimmy to have a overtake done on here. If not, we're going to have a look on how exactly this goes. And remember, guys, do stick around at the end. We're going to just join on with the party chat for our top 3 drivers just to get a word from them about the race. I haven't done a race interview in quite a while, actually. Hopefully, I actually figure something out to ask these guys here. But I'm not even sure what I'm going to ask them as yet. We're just going to take that up on top of our head and just see how this race finishes before we even decide what to ask them here. And as they're going through, Gap is just where they are. Let's have a look at what position is happening here. Who gained the most? So far, it's Bird gaining the most positions. He's gained 10 positions so far. Of course, it's not just about position gain, just to determine driver of the day here. But, you know, let's see what else. So Sink, he started high up. He gained 2 positions. Grimmy there, he's gained 6 positions and is up into P2. Briefing Cow has lost 1 position. And Jagerbomb started right there in P5, so just gonna keep an eye on that kind of information. Just gonna talk to these guys a bit down at the end as we're currently going across the line, and that's P1 for Sink, P2 for Grimmy, and Briefing Cow coming across temporarily for P3, coming across for P4 for now. And let's see where Jagerbomb goes. Oh, we got some action happening down the back, and there is a switch happening. So Jagerbomb goes into P3, Smitty goes P4, Briefing Cow goes P5, Mashman goes 6, Bird 7, Colm goes 8. AMG Reckless is coming around. He probably is going to be going 9th and holds it on for now. Let's see where Lord goes though. Takes away 9th, AMG Reckless down to 10. Diesel is coming around. He should be getting 11th, and Lord, they're getting 12th. So Sink, Grimmy, and Jagerbomb are the 3 drivers we're going to be talking to here. And that is it for the Russian Grand Prix, guys. We're just going to wait for our final results table to come up And Bird does get driver of the day. I assume that was going to happen. Congratulations to him. It was a good drive for him in the race here today, getting that. So can't say he doesn't deserve it. We're just going to go through our official results before we get straight into the race interviews with our drivers here. Alright guys, I think we should have it here, and we're just going to wait on getting a invite for the chat to guess have a word with these guys here. So there we have it, guys. So Singh taking pole position for this race. Grimmy has to take second, almost got that win. Niegram goes up to P3. Smitty takes P4. Briefing Cow down into P5. Classic Mashman goes P6. Bird driver of the day and gets 7. Comb there gets 8. Requaz gets 9. AMG Records in 10th. Started the race in P1 but finishing in 10th. Dizzle there in 11th. Lord in 12th. Lemon 13. Leo 14. Wilco 15. Mo Sullivan in 16. Brembo 17. And that is it, guys, for the Russian Grand Prix for our first race of the season with the Sunday Night Race Club. So let's just give it just a minute as we're gonna get on with the guys now, just to get a word from our top 3 drivers here. Okay, just give me a second here. Let's get everyone on, whoever we can get at the moment here. Hey, Sink, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hey guys, what's up? I think yes, Jaeger, we have to get on.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for him to get on before we do get on with it.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, there we go. All right, so everyone is on. Okay, so that was actually quite an interesting race. A great race to watch. For the first race, actually, I've done commentary for 2021. So, Sing, let's go with you first. How was that race for you? Did those say any of the safety cars actually help you in this race?
One more bit.
Okay, that was actually quite interesting though. Grimmy, I'm not sure if you were getting any assistance from that, but I know you did lose the lead of the race coming close down to the end. How hard was it trying to keep Sing behind you for those laps that you led the race?
But to be honest, what I think being right
But overall, I think it was still a great race though. It was a lot of fun watching you guys, battle it out in front. With just that gap being so close, under a second most of the time, I gotta say it was actually really close between the two of you. And Jaeger, you did some great racing today. Getting P3 because I think was Combe and someone else. They did have about 12 seconds each of penalties, so I know that was gonna push him down. And I assumed you probably was gonna be able to get P3. Did you think that was a bit lucky for you, or because I think you did have some trouble before that though?
Yeah, I had been as nearly been on the fourth last lap and just escaped hitting the wall and came back to being P3 again. So maybe a bit luck.
Yeah, I think it was actually pretty lucky on your end, but I don't think you took any damage though, right? Because I think that was
I
actually a good part of it.
just missed the pole.
Actually, that was pretty good though. Still getting P3 was actually pretty interesting. So overall, a great race from you guys. I'm not sure any comments you guys would like to make on that.
That
Yeah, it was actually pretty close. Going most of the race, actually, I think it was pretty close. So it was a lot of fun, actually, doing the commentary in the races. I hope you guys watch it back and hopefully enjoy it. And hopefully we can keep doing this every week because it was actually really a lot of fun. I'm not sure who's going to be winning constructors or who's going to be winning drivers championship for this one. It's the first race I've seen you guys racing, but honestly I can say it's some really good racing from everyone. I know we did lose a few drivers in this race, but it was a lot of fun watching the race, I gotta say. And that safety car on lap 1, I kind of expected probably that was going to happen. I just didn't want to say anything about it, but a track like Russia, it tends to have incidents like this happening on the first lap. If it's not a safety car, it's going to be a VSC, and either way, it's going to be someone spinning around. Something usually tends to happen, and I know it usually comes down to the end of the race being very close, and anything usually happens, which is where Grimmy lost the lead of the race just a few laps before we went to the end. But still, he led the race for quite a few laps, running a pretty good race. Think you were chasing him down. It was actually a lot of fun to watch. And so everyone did do a pretty good job racing here today. So just thank you guys for joining me on at least just for a few minutes, just so we can have a word from you guys. So again, congratulations to all three of you for making it onto the podium today. All right, guys. So take care, guys. Look forward to doing the next race again. All right. Okay, guys, so that is it for today for the Russian Grand Prix with our Sunday Night Race Club. So we're gonna be joining them again hopefully next week for the next race. So look forward to that. And hopefully we have even more drivers than 17. We probably might have a full grid. We don't know as yet. But either way, I think it should be a quite interesting session to look forward to. So either way, guys, look forward to that next week. We'll be doing this again for round 2 with them. So until then, guys, I'm going to sign off for now. And that's going to be the end of the stream. Thank you guys for joining us.